I am Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover of a Adria Sonic Supreme 700 DL. So starting with walk round on the driver's side of the vehicle first. The first locker you get to is your hookup, where your hookup point is. So in here you've got a mains connection point. So to hook the vehicle up, you'd get your hookup lead, lift the collar, slide this onto the motorhome first, then to the power source, and do it in reverse when unhooking the vehicle. Then you want to just lift one of these grommets up, pop the wire through, and then you can shut the door. On the other side you've got two USBs, tele points, and a 12-volt point. So should you be struggling to get a signal, you can carry a length of coax, but you'll need to get an F-type connector, as it's a satellite connector type for the TV aerial, and you can connect to the TV aerial on site to get a better signal than the aerial on the roof of your motorhome. You've got your fuel on the awning, your door which works on central locking, and you've got your step switch here, so your step will retract when the engine's started anyway, but remember to put it out using that switch, and you've got to have the engine off to then put the step out. 2 fridge vents and your awning light. This is your garage, so you've got a large garage on this motorhome. There's your spare wheel. Your lights, should the master switch be on inside the motorhome, you can just press the ends here, and these are your LED strip lights. You've also got some storage down here, a 230-volt plug for charging anything, and a 10-amp 12-volt point. Tethering point, which you can move along these rails here on both sides, and then you do have your external shower point, which is in your garage. So you've got a pipe like so. This fitting connects into here, and then you've got hot and cold, so you can adjust the temperature, but obviously make sure that your boiler's been on to get hot, because it'll not heat up straight away. It's got to be on, either gas or electric, to heat up first. Make sure your pump's on, and you'll get a pressurized flow of water through the tap. So on the other end of the hose, you've got a trigger gun, so you can hose yourselves off, the bikes, the dogs, the kids, the boots, whatever you need to do. Large storage drawer, which you can get in from underneath the step between the beds at the back of this motorhome. On the back of the motorhome, you've got your high level brake light, your reversing camera, your bike rack bars, should you ever fit one. This is where the back panel has been strengthened. And then on the bottom you've got parking sensors just underneath your rear reflectors. There's your toolkit in there, so that's got everything that you need to change that spare wheel, jackknife brace and a tone eye, all in there. There is your waste water outlet point. So normally on the way out of your site you drive over a grid. This is an electronic dump on the Adrias, and there's a switch in the cab which I'll show you in a couple of moments time. But you drive over the grid and you want to deposit your waste water. Never travel with it, because obviously it's going to use more fuel, it's going to add weight to the motorhome, making you more heavy. Obviously the lighter you are, the better fuel consumption you're going to have. So let it out on the way out of your site, and you want to make sure that this is fully drained off in the winter. Cassette locker, so this is where everything goes from the toilet, and then this requires emptying when the red light comes on the toilet system. So what you've got to do is lift the orange handle and slide the cassette out of the motorhome. You can carry it or you can wheel it, if it's a bit heavy, to the waste disposal point, which is normally right beside your toilet block. And then to empty it, all you need to do is take the cover off, press the orange button, tip it out of the cassette. There's normally a tap there, so you put some water in here and give it a final rinse before you go in with a cap full of chemical into the cassette, and it's good to go back into the motorhome and be used. Following on, we've got your gas. So this is your gas locker. Opens with all the same key, this key here, this Adria key, and we've got our test bottle on. So it'll fit 2 6-kilogram propane bottles, or 1 6 and 1 11. So you can probably get one bigger bottle in there. The straps provided, so you need to strap the bottom and the top of the bottle once you've got the bottle on board. And then to connect the pigtails, so this pigtail is a hand tighten, left hand thread with it being gas. No need for a spanner, so it's hand tighten, that's all you need to do. Left, turn it left until you can't turn it anymore. Turn the bottle on and off from the top. Ensure that this yellow nib is always pushed in. If that's ever pops out, it's the crash valve's gone off. You need to press and hold it to reset it for 5 seconds. And then when you are ready to travel, before you leave your site, ensure that your gas is switched off, so it's nice and safe for yourselves and other road users. Flue for your Alde system, so that's just going to allow the fumes out when operating on gas. So this is your water, this one here. So again, with the Adria key, it's a lockable cap. So you'd unlock it, and then you want to go and get yourself a hose pipe with some hose pipe connections, as it's mainly just a brass tap on site. Pop the flat end of the hose into the motorhome. Wait until it either overflows or until you're happy you've got enough water on board, which you can see on the control panel. Should you not be able to get the hose to the van, but you can bring a bucket or a container of water, what you can do is connect a pump to here. So there's 2 pins underneath this plastic cap which you need to get off. So 2 pins there for 12 volt. Flat end of the hose there, and then pop the pump into the water, and it'll suck the water from the bucket into the onboard water tank. Then you can lock your cap. This is AdBlue, so as it's a new diesel styled engine, the Ducato does have a 19 litre AdBlue tank. You can buy it on the pump, so you can buy it in the drums. You may want to carry a 10 litre drum with you just in case, but the drums are a little bit more expensive. I think you pay about £12 for a drum, whereas I think it's about £1.40 a litre on the pump, and you simply top it up until it won't take any more. But on the new Ducatos, like this is, it'll give you a level indication when the AdBlue's low. So it'll come up and say AdBlue level low, give you a range, top up is required, and it'll tell you how much you need to top it up by. This is your fuel. So to operate your fuel lockable cap, you need to use your fade key to do that, and then your fade key. So to lock the van, you press the Fate logo. To unlock the van, you press this button here. This one is fitted with air suspension, so you've got 2 nipples here that you can fill with air via a compressor, and it tells you what the minimum and maximum air compressor is in both sides, which will be rear air suspension, so one's your right, one's your left, so you can top them up, and that'll just improve your ride quality. This switch here is your wastewater electric dump. So like I was saying before, where the pipe is, you've got to press the switch. So you've got off in the middle, and then you can open it, which is the top one, and lock it at the bottom, and then just put the switch back into the middle position. So when leaving site, drain off your wastewater, and especially in the winter you want to make sure that's fully drained off. Underneath this compartment in the cab is where your engine battery is, so if you ever need to change it in the near future or charge it over the winter, just release that panel and you'll be able to get to the top of the engine battery, should I say. And then your bonnet release is just here. So having a quick look underneath your bonnet. There's a little secondary catch here, pops your bonnet up, and then you'll need to put this onto here to keep the bonnet up. So at the front you've got your screen wash, which is the main one you're going to need when touring, because you're going to go through a lot of screen wash in the summer because of the amount of flies that gets on the front of your A-class windscreen. Obviously there's another screen wash filler at the back, but this is your new filler because obviously it's an A-class, I've had to adapt it. Coolant, brake fluid, and then this side you've got, if you ever need to jump start the vehicle, you need to earth it off just up here, off there, and then your positive point, air filter, fuse box, pop the key in here, lift it up, and just here this is your positive point for giving or receiving a jump start, and then this is your weight plate. So it's on a Adria weight plate stage 2 conversion, so it's 4.4 ton gross vehicle weight. 6,150 kilograms is the motorhome, whatever you're towing behind if you do fit a tow bar. 2,100 front axle weight and 2,500 back axle weight. So to operate your main control panel, so as you can see on the control panel, it's telling you the outside temperature, the inside temperature, that you're currently hooked up, which means you're receiving 230 volt mains voltage. Your awning light is turned off. You're hooked up and it's charging your leisure battery, which is the battery at the back of the motorhome. That's why you can see the back end of the motorhome and a battery, because it's charging the leisure battery, which is the designated battery you want to work your habitation area. You've got your freshwater level reading, 100%. Wastewater is currently empty, so it's 0. And then your pump is turned off. So using the buttons around the sides, so at the top right hand corner, or should I say left hand corner, you do have your lights. So to turn them on and off, you'd use this dial here, so you can press, and that's the master switch for the lights inside the motorhome. And then turn the awning light on, which is the light on the outside of the motorhome. With having the lights on, sometimes you do need the lights on to work your spark ignitions for your fridge, your oven, your grill, your hobs, just because it's sometimes wired that way. So if you can't get your ignition to work with your lights turned off, it's probably because you haven't got your master switch for your lights turned on. Underneath you've got your temperatures, so inside and outside temperature, settings, so you can go change the date and time, the brightness of the screen, and so on. And here got your pump, so you can turn your pump on and off here. So should you want a pressurized water flow to your taps, toilet and shower, you've got to have your pump on, otherwise you'll not get any pressurized or any water coming out the taps because it isn't pressurized. This is your master switch here, so the top right hand one, so this is the button you'd press if you're entering the motorhome or you were leaving it and you were parting it up for when you finished your trip. You'd turn it on and off, so you can press and hold, turn the panel off and turn it on.
Bluetooth mode.
And then you do have your batteries. So you can see that you've got your van battery and your leisure battery. So it's telling you that it's charging and that's the current amperage currently being used off your active battery, which is your leisure battery. Underneath you've got your water levels, so 100% fresh, 0 waste, and then you do have the back button. So to operate your heating system, which is an Alde heating system, so you press the on button, it'll go through its cycle, and then you'll be able to select your temperature. So as you can see there, it's showing you the inside temperature that it's currently at, and the outside temperature. So to adjust the temperature of your motorhome, click indoor. You can adjust it up and down with the plus and the minus, all the way to 30 degrees or all the way down to 5 degrees, should you not want the heating on at all. And then you do have your energy source. So this is electric at the top. So you can see that you've got 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatts and 3 kilowatts. So depending on the site amperage they give you, whether it's 12 or 16 amp, will determine whether you use 1, 2 or 3 kilowatts. But remember, if you're using any other high voltage appliances, turn one down first or one off before you use another one, so it avoids tripping the vehicle. Should you want gas, all you need to do is press gas and turn it on. So you'd use gas if you were wild camping, as you wouldn't have any electric available, but you can use the electric and gas together should you need to in the winter to take the chill out of the motorhome, or if you're in desperate need of hot water. And then you can select your priority as electric, so always when you hook up it'll try and put itself onto electric other than gas. Hot water in the bottom corner, so turn the hot water on, you just press on and off. And then should you want to boost it for 30 minutes, which you can, and it'll tell you how many minutes is left of the boost, this will turn off the heating for 30 minutes and prioritize your water. So it'll prioritize the water until the water is hot before the heating comes back on. So in the winter, when you're away and it's cold, you probably don't want to boost the water straight away. You want to allow the vehicle to get warm until it's too hot, and then you can boost your water should you be in desperate need of having a quick shower. And then it tells you there that you're hooked up, so you can use mains voltage to heat the water and the vehicle instead of wasting your gas. So in the kitchen area you do have 3 gas burners, so ensure your gas bottle's turned on, and then you'll be able to light all 3 gas rings. Allow them to cool down so that they're cool enough that you can lay your hand upon the burner before you do put the glass lid down, otherwise there is a chance you could shatter the glass lid. Up here you do have 2 230 volt sockets, the extraction fan and the backlight for your splashback. Ensuring that the pump's turned on, you'll be able to use the tap. And you do have hot and cold water there. That water is starting to warm there. That's the warm water coming through. Yeah, so that's working as it should. And then underneath, you've got your grill and you've got your oven. Storage underneath. Slide out drawers. Behind this bottom drawer, sitting underneath the carcass of the kitchen cupboards, is your water pump, so you can lift this drawer off to get access to your water pump should you ever need to. It's mainly for when the vehicle is serviced. Storage drawers, and then you do have one overhead storage cabinet which you just push the centre of the cabinet and it will open up. In this little cabinet, which is just a push button to release above the oven, is 3 isolation, or should I say 4 isolation valves. So you've got your oven you've got your hob, you've got your fridge, and you've got your water heater and boiler system. So should you need to isolate any appliance, you can isolate each appliance individually here, but turn your bottle off to be safe. If you have any troubles with gas, this is mainly for when the vehicle is annually habitation serviced. So to operate your Thetford fridge, so to turn it on and off, you press and hold. This will turn it off, so when you park the van up and you're not using it, you'd have it off. A couple of days before you go away, if you're lucky enough to keep it at home, you'll want to hook it up. Not only does that allow your leisure batteries to charge, but you can also put your fridge on and cool your fridge down. So press the button and turn the fridge back on. You'll notice it says A and it's got a picture of a plug. A stands for automatic energy selection, so AES. And what that does is the brain of the fridge picks out the best source available to the vehicle at any one time. So if you're hooked up, it'll go to hook up. Even if you've got your gas turned on, it'll know not to waste gas and go to hook up. If you want to start the engine, it'll go to the 12 volt setting, which is a feed from the alternator. So it's not off your leisure battery. You can't run a fridge off your leisure battery. It's not capable of doing that. But it'll run off the engine battery. So like I was saying beforehand, if you hooked it up a few days before you went away, the night before, what you'll want to do is go off in the car, bring the shopping home, put it in your motorhome, pop it in your fridge, allow that to chill overnight, and then when you do start the engine, obviously that shopping's chilled. So it's the same when moving site to site. You can use the battery setting and it'll keep your shopping nice and fresh until you either arrive back on site and you hook it back up and it'll go back to 230 volt, or it'll go to gas. If you manually want to change the source of the fridge, you'd press the square button here until they start flashing. And then you can use the arrows. So we've took it off automatic and you've put it on battery. You've put it on mains hookup. You would press enter. Then you select your temperature here, so go up and down. So full temperature is when pre-chilling. Once you put your shopping in, just drop it down to 3 or 4 so it doesn't freeze the fridge, and then press enter. Or you can move it on to battery on its own or gas on its own. And you may have to light it on gas on its own, because on AES, automatic energy selection, it'll wait 20 minutes before lighting on gas. That's because if you forgot to turn your bottle off and you've just knocked your engine off and it's lost 12 volt, but it's finding gas and you're filling with diesel, you obviously don't want it to spark in a petrol station. So it'll wait 20 minutes. If you are going wild camping, just put on to manual gas and then you can swap it back to automatic after 20 minutes. But normally you would just leave it on A and it'll find the source that's best available. One last thing with your fridge, and what you want to do is once you finish using it, you want to leave the door open. Obviously when it's parked up and the door's shut, you're going to get a smell in your motorhome, and that's not what you want. So there's a little catch here on the hinge, little blue one, just pop that into the middle and then rest upon the door. So don't shut the door, just leave it loose and it'll allow air circulation in and out of the fridge. So when you come into the van, just underneath the control panels, you've got your TV bracket. So if you lift this, you'll be able to slide it out and you can pop your telly onto here. So there's your fixing plate. You can slide it round into the back, or situate it where you want it when it's out. But once you've plugged your telly in, you'll want to plug it into the aerial. So there's an aerial point here, so you plug it in there, but it's an F-type connector. So it isn't the standard ones like at home, it's an F-type, so it's a satellite type connector that works your aerial. 12 volt tellies are better than 230 volt ones, as you can use them wherever you are as long as you've got charge in your leisure battery. But remember, with your TVs, you've got to retune them every time you move site, as you're going to pick up different signals. So if you remove the hatch in the floor, as the Adrias have got double floors, your water tank's in here, and this is your fresh water. So to drain off the fresh water, which you would drain off if you've taken on a source of contaminated water, you weren't using the vehicle for a short period of time, or a long period of time when you winterize it and you want to drain off all water to stop it from freezing in the winter. So to drain your tank off, it's this dial here, and all you need to do is turn it to the left hand side if you are looking at it. So turn this to the left, it'll drain all of it out if you open it all the way until you can't turn it anymore. Or if you turn it halfway, what it will do is it'll release it from 110 litres, which it holds, and it'll drop that by 90 litres so that you're only carrying 20 litres. And that means that when you carry less water but you want to carry some water, 20 litres is enough to use the toilet, to have a cup of tea if you're on a longer journey, but it also doesn't increase on your payload, so it still means that you've got a good enough payload and that the vehicle is still good on fuel. Because the only time you need to carry a full tank is if you're going wild camping, which is where you're going to lose a little bit of weight for your payload because you're carrying more weight in water, and you're going to use more fuel because you're dragging more weight around. But to drain it off, it's here, and obviously make sure that's fully drained off in the winter, as you wouldn't want the water to freeze and cause any damage to your motorhome. You can access the tank for cleaning here once you've drained it off, but make sure it is drained off, or at least down to around 50 litres or so before you open this, so that the water doesn't seep out the top of the tank. So behind your passenger seat, if you remove the hatch in the floor, this side you do have your boiler drain. So to drain your boiler off, this is what's known as a Truma anti-frost control valve. So it reacts to temperature. So if the temperature drops to 3 degrees or below, it'll drop its water by itself. So just do take that in mind in case you do happen to leave water in the vehicle and you put your pump on, because once you put your pump on and your boiler's open, unfortunately it'll drain all your water out underneath the van, because it's circulating it into the boiler, but it's going to circulate it straight through because the valve's open, so it's going to drain off underneath the vehicle. But once it hits 3 degrees, it'll automatically drop the water to stop the water from freezing. But in the winter, it's very important that you need to know that this is open. So basically, open it yourself. So I'm going to show you how to open it yourself. So blue diamond, there's no nib in the middle, which means it's shut. And the button on the side here is flush. If I turn that, you'll see the button's popped out and there's a nib, and it's facing front to back. It's going to drain off the 10 litres of water that's in the boiler. So you would leave it like this over the time you've got the vehicle stood up in storage or parked on the drive, not in use over the winter. Open your fresh and your waste as well, and then open all the taps within the motorhome to stop any water from freezing in any pipelines. Then when you come to reuse it, close the diamond, push your button in at the bottom. If it isn't staying in, it's probably because it's still too cold. So pop your heating on first without the water, and obviously there's a pipe right beside it that's going to get nice and warm, and it's going to heat this area. So then once you push the button in and it does stay in, you can then start drawing your water through. So once your valve's shut all the other taps in the motorhome, shut the fresh tank and the waste tank, and fill the vehicle full of cold water via a hose pipe from outside. Then come in and put the control panel on and the pump. Go to the cold side of the tap first. You'll get a pressurised flow of cold water straight away, and then as soon as you go around the hot, it's going to cough, splutter, make all sorts of noises until you get a free flow of water, because it's transferring the water into the boiler and it's filling it with 10 litres. So this will take a few minutes, and then once you've got a free flow of water, you know that your system is primed. But it's very important that you check on these and make sure they're open, so that you don't Avoid any warranties because frost damage is your responsibility. The manufacturer will not take responsibility for you not draining down your motorhome. So make sure that you please are draining down your motorhomes in the winter. So in the washroom, to operate your toilet, ensure that the pump's on, and for your flush all you need to do is press this big blue button. So before you use the toilet, always flush it, so put a small amount of water in first. So give it a flush, that'll do you. Putting water in the toilet first allows the seal between the top of the toilet and the slide of the cassette, which is known as the blade, to stay lubricated. Once you've put the water in, you can then open the blade. So don't use the toilet yet, open it. So this is the blade here. Slide it away from you, it opens the blade and you can see directly into the cassette. Then all you need to do once you've finished is flush and slide it back towards you. If you've bought the blue and the pink together, the chemicals, obviously the pink isn't needed, but what you can do is you can dilute the pink with some water in a spray bottle, spray the bowl, flush, and it'll do the same job. Just your motorhome doesn't have a header tank as some others do. This is a freshwater flush system. So spray, dilute it with some water, spray the bowl, give you the fragrant smell, cleans the bowl, and then you'll be able to close the blade, and then when the cassette is full it'll indicate on here saying that the cassette's full and it's ready to be emptied with a red light. At the back of the vehicle you do have two single beds, or you can make it into one double by sliding this board out and popping this infill cushion in here, and you sleep across the width of the motorhome, but it's entirely up to you. Storage in the steps, obviously that is the slide out tray that slides out into the garage, which you can access from inside the vehicle. This slides back in case you do have that bed made, so that you can get up and down to the bed like that. You've got two drawers this side, and then this side you do have your wardrobe. So the door pushes in so that you can get in front of it and load your wardrobe. To the back of it you do have two large overhead cabinets. Your lights are dimmable, which are just around the windows, so just press and hold, and above the locker. Individual reading lights you can turn on and off individually. Or you can slide these out and you can move it to where you need, and then all you need to do is push the outer edges and it'll lock it into place. You've also got your Adria control unit here, so you can connect to this via Bluetooth, and there's speakers in the van so you can play your music or connect your iPads if you use Netflix or anything, so you get surround sound within the motorhome. Or you can connect via USB-C or auxiliary. This is just your volume, and then you do have an on-off, which is just here. Just behind this panel here is where your Alde expansion tank is. So there's a min and a max, and you top it up here, and this liquid has a 5-year lifespan. So every 5 years you will need to change the liquid in your Alde system, because this is antifreeze, runs around the pipes, so you don't have to drain it off in the winter, you just have to drain your boiler off. But make sure that you run the system up first before you top it up, because obviously the liquid expands, it goes to boiling point. So don't top it up when it's cold, top it up after it's been warm, and it's expanded so you can see the real level of the liquid. In the little cupboard beside your habitation door, which you can get in from the front or take the cushions off and you get in underneath, you do have your battery charger here and your main trips. So if you've tripped the vehicle out, try here before you try your main site, as you may have just tripped the motorhome. So you've got all your MCBs and your main trip tester. So to make the additional travelling seats in this model, what you need to do is remove all cushions like so, fold this board back, which is then going to allow you to have space for your footwell for your passenger, but lift it up, pop the seat belt round there just to hold it up there, and then lift the backrest up. Once you've got the backrest in position, just push it down and make sure it locks into place before putting your base back down. But you'll also notice this is your location of your fuse board, so it's your 12 volt system. All listed what they do. Just carry some spare blade fuses with you in case one does decide to blow a fuse. So getting back to this seat, push this back down now. Put your base cushion on, and then there's backrests which look like this, which you can be found in the wardrobe in the garage, and all they do is they now go on there, so they go under there. There's a seat belt this side and a buckle just hidden underneath here, so fish it out and there you have a travelling seat. You've got exactly the same on the opposite side of the vehicle, so it's a 4-berth, 4-belted vehicle. To bring down your drop down bed above your cab, you've got a switch here, so make sure the master switch on and the light circuit is turned on the panel, and you'll be able to operate the bed, be able to bring it down. But before you do bring it down, you will have to tip these seats forward because the backrests are going to get in the way. So on either side of the seat, got a black wheel, pull it forward like so. Just do be careful that you leave enough space on this one so that when you put the bed down it doesn't set the horn off, because you'll not be very friendly on a campsite if you. And then just bring the bed down. Like so, and there you do have your drop down double bed. You've got a privacy curtain which comes across, you've got a skylight which opens, it's got a blackout blind and a fly screen on it for when it's open. Your lights are individually switched, so you just need to touch them. And then should you be putting children in there, you do have a safety net, so it zips up halfway on the fabric out the sides and then it clips on at the top. And then you just press the going back up again, opposite side of the switch. Should it not respond to the switch, it's probably because these are very weight sensitive, these motors, so there's a little reset here as well, which is this little nib that you've just got to press, and all it does is it resets the resettable fuse for the bed. So to operate your Fate head unit, you can turn it on and off via here, and this is your volume button as well. There's a volume button and a skip button on the back of the steering wheel. But to operate the system, so you've got your home screen, so at present you can see the sat nav screen, the radio station and the phone. Obviously there's no phone connected, so it will come up there with whoever's phone's connected. If you go to the music tone, this is your radio, so you can press and hold up to 18 stations there, either on FM or DAB, or you can press source and you can connect Bluetooth, USB, AM, FM radio, it's up to you. So if you want to use Apple Music, Spotify, if you've got music on your phones, because they don't take CDs now, or you can put all your CDs onto a memory stick and go to USB, it's up to you. And browse all your stations, and then you do have your audio settings at the end, on the top. Next you have your climate control, which is all through here, but you can do it through the screen. So you've got demist, face or feet, so where you want to circulate the air to. Max AC, aircon, max demist for the front, and then the rear. Obviously it doesn't have any rear windscreen, but it does have heated mirrors, which the button's here for that. So forget about the rear demist. You've got your fan speed here, you've got your on to turn it on, you've got your recirculation, and you've got your automatic, so it'll choose the fan speed for you, so it'll detect how hot it is and it'll just put it to the right fan speed to cool the cab down. Next one, you've got your sat nav. So there you can see that you've got a good picture on your sat nav. Don't worry about the red hazing running through the screen, that's not on your sat nav, that is on the camera. And then all you need to do is press search and pop your address in there. Obviously you do have some shortcuts, so you can add home, you can add work. I wouldn't advise adding home to your exact address. Put it to a street before or a street after, just in case if they do manage to get your motorhome, they're not going to know where you live. Feeling that you do have parking slots, petrol pumps. If you're feeling hungry, you can search for restaurants and it'll bring up them all there. So it's quite a good system, the sat nav, and the picture's great. And then you do have your phone, so you can connect a phone. So do you want to pair a phone? You'd press yes. And then you want to search for Bluetooth devices. So you need to go on your phone and open your Bluetooth in your phone and start searching for this when that's searching for your phone. And they'll find each other. And then you'll be able to pair with the device. And then it'll ask if you want to allow your contacts to be saved. Just press allow and it'll save all your contacts into the head unit, so you'll be able to press phone and scroll through, or whoever rings you, if they're saved, it'll come up with a number and a name instead of just a number. Once you've done that, you've got your picture of your van here, so you've got your settings for your van. So you've got your trips, so you can view all your range, so your trip A, trip B, so your range, which is how many miles you've got in your tank, your average consumption, your travelling times, your distance travelled, all of that. And then you've got your controls. So rear view camera, screen off, so you can turn the screen off, and as soon as you touch it, it'll come back on, just so it doesn't give you the glare on an evening when you're sitting listening to the radio, if that's something you want to do. This is Apple CarPlay, so you just need to connect your phone, and it's wireless. So if you connect your phone via Bluetooth, so I'll connect mine and I'll show you how your Apple CarPlay works. So you're looking for Uconnect on your phone. So there you go, I've found Uconnect. I'll pair with it. Now it's come up Callum's iPhone. Just press pair on your device and then it'll ask you to allow your contacts to be saved. Apple CarPlay, just press OK, OK. And then it'll ask you use Apple CarPlay, press allow. And as you can see there, you've got your screen. So you've got your phone, your music, Apple Music, maps, your messages. Now playing's just your music. Uconnect goes back to the Fate head unit, which I've showed you before, the Apple CarPlay system. Got your podcasts if you want to listen to any podcasts, any audio books, your calendar, your settings, they're all there, and WhatsApp. So that's all there. And then this side you do have your Apple Maps, and then obviously your songs, so your radio, so you can press and skip them, and that's your Apple CarPlay. So once you put the vehicle into reverse, your rear view camera comes on. So that's in a forward gear or neutral, and then that is in reverse. So you've got two views. So if you've got a manual in a forward gear or neutral, you'll get this screen. Or if you've got an automatic when in park, like this one is an auto in park, you'll get that view. But as soon as you put it down into drive, you get this view. And then in reverse, you'll see the back of the motorhome, just like so. And it's on this screen, this camera screen. Here you've got your adjustment for your mirrors, and you've got your Alde screen button here. So what that does is the wasted heat from the Alde system.
Hello.
Once you pop that on there, you've got two fan speeds. It'll just demist your windscreen with the wasted heat to stop it from steaming up. So it'll use the wasted warm air from the Alde system once you leave site in the winter to stop your windscreen from steaming up and demisting.